I know the upcoming release of Assassin's Creed Shadows has everyone pretty excited, but okay, jokes aside, how about instead of looking at the train wreck that is Assassin's Creed Shadows, we just go into the Animus ourselves, taking us back to simpler times. In this case, 2007. And so, let's take a look at how we got here, with this full playthrough and retrospective on the original game Assassin's Creed 1. Remember, nothing is true and everything is permitted. And so here we go.
And so we start in a very glitchy environment with all sorts of errors and images floating around, until finally we are pulled out of it.
You okay?
I told you he'd be fine.
Bastards!
Now, I just saved your life.
Saved my life? You kidnapped me. You strapped me into that thing.
Animus. It's an animus.
I don't even know you people. Why are you doing this to me?
To summarize, we play Desmond Miles, who is strapped in this lovely machine called the Animus. To explain, the theory goes that memory is a recollection of the past. However, the Animus is able to also access memories from your ancestors, because all of those are stored in your DNA. Alright then.
This is the specific memory we're trying to access. Unfortunately, when we try and open the memory, your mind withdraws. You lack the confidence to step into your ancestor's body. That's what happened earlier. You got knocked out of the target memory and pushed back to a more stable state.
Why?
It's your subconscious. It's resisting. We've found similar reactions among patients who undergo hypnosis to relive traumatic events. They can't jump directly into the specific memory. They need to be eased in. Even then, there can be problems.
So how do we fix it?
We find a memory you can synchronize with, and we move forward from there. You'll get used to it. This is the closest we can get, so it's where we'll have to start. I'm uploading the tutorial program now.
We get a short tutorial on how everything works, how to walk through a crowd of people, and what the differences between socially acceptable and socially unacceptable behaviors are. You should probably already know this, but regardless, these socially unacceptable behaviors might also arouse suspicion from the guards. And then after this introduction, we go to our first memory.
Wait! There must be another way. This one need not die.
An excellent skill. Fortune favors your blade.
Not fortune, skill. Watch a while longer and you might learn something.
Indeed. He'll teach you how to disregard everything the Masters taught us.
And how would you have done it?
I would not have drawn attention to us. I would not have taken the life of an innocent. There. That must be the Ark.
The Ark of the Covenant?
Don't be silly. There's no such thing. It's just a story.
Then what is it?
Quiet. Someone's coming.
I want us through this gate before sunrise. The sooner we possess it, the sooner...
Robert de Sable. His life is mine.
No. We were asked to retrieve the treasure and deal with Robert only if necessary.
He stands between us and it. I'd say it's necessary.
Discretion, Altair.
You mean cowardice. That man is our greatest enemy. And here we have a chance to be rid of him.
You have already broken 2 tenets of our creed. Now you would break the 3rd.
And of course, the arrogance displayed here by our ancestor Altair leads to the mission failing in a spectacular way.
You know not the things in which you meddle, assassin. I spare you only that you may return to your master and deliver a message. The Holy Land is lost to him and his. He should flee now while he has the chance. Stay, and all of you will die.
We then introduced a little bit more to basic parkour mechanics, free running, jumping, climbing, and I will say this, compared to the modern Assassin's Creed games, it does look a little bit clunky, but it does feel quite smooth right now. And given the fact that this is the original game that basically introduced these mechanics, they still feel pretty neat even today. Anyway, it auto skips to a different part of the memory and we're let loose on Masyaf, a small town outside of the assassin's castle. Here we're already allowed to jump and roam around.
And yes, the game, it looks somewhat dated, but looking at the castle here, I'm gonna be real, for 2007, I think this is pretty impressive still. And that is almost 20 years ago. Just don't remind me of that, okay?
Anyway, as we go to the castle, we explain the mission to our master.
Master.
Come forward. Tell me of your mission. I trust you have recovered the Templar's treasure.
There was some trouble, Master. Robert de Sable was not alone.
When does our work ever go as expected? It's our ability to adapt that makes us who we are.
This time it was not enough.
What do you mean?
I have failed you.
The treasure?
Lost to us.
And Robert?
Escaped.
I send you, my best man, to complete a mission more important than any that has come before. And you return to me with nothing but apologies and excuses.
I did.
Do not speak. Not another word. Where are Malik and Kadar?
Dead.
No. Not dead.
Malik?
I still live at least.
And your brother?
Gone. Because of you!
Robert threw me from the room. There was no way back. Nothing I could do.
Because you would not heed my warning! All of this could have been avoided! Your arrogance nearly cost us victory today.
Nearly?
I've what your favorite failed to find. Here. Take it. Though it seems I've returned with more than just their treasure.
Master, we are under attack. Robert de Sable lays siege to Masyaf's village.
So he seeks a battle. Very well. I'll not deny him. Go. Inform the others. The fortress must be prepared.
During all of this, the city is attacked, and so we are off to defend it. We're introduced to even more fighting mechanics, however this time with all of the extra mechanics unlocked. More on that later, but overall, combat is quite trivial. You lock on with F, tapping the attack button does a light attack, and holding it does a strong attack. If you hold right mouse button, you block, and when you're attacked, you can also do a counter that usually instant kills the opponent or at least downs them. You do need to learn the timing of this a little bit, but it is quite forgiving, and this is basically the easiest way to win all fights. Well, there is one other way, but you need a little bit of height for that. We'll see this in a little bit. We make short work of the opponents until it is time to retreat. Back at the castle, we get one of the most iconic scenes that started this whole franchise.
My men do not fear death, Robert. They welcome it, and the rewards it brings.
Good. Then they shall have it all around.
Follow me, and do so without hesitation.
Show this fool knight what it is to have no fear. Go to God!
Yes, the leap of faith, especially at this location, truly iconic.
We walk across some beams and climb a more complicated wall, and I'm telling you, I've not played a new Assassin's Creed in a long time. And with a long time, I mean the last one I played was the Ezio trilogy. So maybe right now or nowadays it's way better, but genuinely this climbing still holds up today, at least in this stage of the game. When you really understand the design language and where you can and cannot climb, it's actually quite simple. I will regret those words later, won't I? Yes, I will.
And finally, we spring the trap on the Templars.
What are you doing?
There are rules. We are nothing if we do not abide by the Assassin's creed. 3 simple tenets, which you seem to forget. I will remind you. First and foremost, stay your blade.
From the flesh of an innocent. I know.
And stay your tongue, unless I give you leave to use it. If you are so familiar with this tenet, then why did you kill the old man inside the temple? He was innocent. He did not need to die. Your insolence knows no bounds. Make humble your heart, child, or I swear I'll tear it from you with my own hands. The second tenet is that which gives us strength. Hide in plain sight. Let the people mask you such that you become one with the crowd. Do you remember? Because as I hear it, you chose to expose yourself, drawing attention before you'd struck. The third and final tenet. The worst of all your betrayals. Never compromise the Brotherhood. Its meaning should be obvious. Your actions must never bring harm upon us, direct or indirect. I am sorry. Truly I am. But I cannot abide a traitor.
I am not a traitor.
Your actions indicate otherwise. And so you leave me no choice. Peace be upon you, Altair.
And now jumping back to the present, I mean our past, but Desmond's present, because before he was in the past, which is our past too, but his past too, and now we're back in the present. Yes.
The present, to be honest, is much less exciting than the times that we have with Altair. However, there are some implications about, this whole ordeal, basically. Who are the assassins and who are the Templars? How do they connect to each other, and how does their conflict extend all the way to modern day? Probably all questions we surely will get an answer to, right? Right? We will get an answer to them, right? Oh my.
Anyway, we eavesdrop on the two just to see what they're planning.
There's a word for that. I believe it's called insubordination.
And I don't appreciate you trying to kill him. There's a word for that too. I believe it's called stupid.
Lucy, this isn't my decision. I don't set the deadlines, but I'm smart enough not to challenge them. Do you want to wind up like Layla?
I know the accident has everyone on edge.
Which is why there's no time to coddle him.
If you push him too hard, he'll shut down, and then we'll have nothing.
We have nothing now.
But we will. You just need to have a little faith.
We're done for today, Mr. Miles. I suggest you return to your room and get some rest.
Alright, off we go to sleep, and the dog wakes us up, giving us some information and justifications for his scheming, kidnapping us and stripping us into the Animus. Well, I'm interested in this.
We're always watching you. Now get up. We've got a lot of work to do.
Ooh, wonder who I get to kill today.
Don't be so cavalier, dear. Your ancestors almost had the right idea, Mr. Miles. If the deaths of a few people, evil people, no less, could save the lives of thousands more, well, it seems a small sacrifice.
What do you mean, almost?
They didn't go far enough. To use a rather tired analogy, corruption is no different than cancer. Cut out the tumors, but fail to treat the source and, well, you're buying time at best. There's no true change to be had without comprehensive, systemic intervention.
Chemo for the masses.
Education. Re-education, to be more precise. But it's not easy, and it doesn't always take.
Let me guess. You've got a better solution. What is it then?
Now that would be telling.
Alright, we enter memory block 2, and so we are back with Altair.
Alive. But I saw you stab me. Felt death's embrace.
You saw what I wanted you to see, and then you slept the sleep of the dead, of the womb, that you might awake and be reborn.
To what end?
Do you remember, Altair, what it is the assassin fight for?
Peace. In all things.
Yes, in all things. It is not enough to end the violence one man commits upon another. It refers to peace within as well. You cannot have one without the other.
So it is said.
So it is! But you, my son, have not found inner peace. It manifests in ugly ways. You are arrogant and overconfident.
Were you not the one to say that nothing is true and everything is permitted?
You do not understand the true meaning of the phrase, my child. It does not grant you the freedom to do as you wish. It is a knowledge meant to guide your senses. It expects a wisdom you clearly lack.
Then what is to become of me?
I should kill you for the pain you've brought upon us. Malik thinks it only fair. Your life in exchange for his brother's. But this would be a waste of my time and your talents. You'll see you have been stripped of your possessions. Your rank as well. You are a novice. A child once more. As you were on the day you first joined our order.
Well, we've been majorly demoted, and as you can see, all things we've lost. It just keeps freaking going. Oh my. But not to worry, we'll get those back in time. We are set off once again, first sent to the village market to eavesdrop. So, we jump across a couple of buildings, do a leap of faith here and there, and finally in the market, we sit on a bench and listen.
I know what I saw. Musun opened the gate. He let the Templars in.
Then you must tell Al-Muallim.
I can't. Musun did not act alone. Someone inside the fortress helped him.
What makes you say this?
He exchanges letters with someone inside. The basket weaver carries them for him.
That's no reason to stay silent.
Ah, but the weaver delivered him a letter just before the attack. I suspect it held the order to open the gate.
Then speak to the weaver. He can name Masun's accomplice.
He's disappeared, hiding for fear of being dragged into this.
Probably inside one of his own baskets.
Listening into these conversations can sometimes actually be quite useful, but the next step will usually show up on the minimap, so, I mean, let's go. However, before we go after the basket weaver, I spotted something on top of this building right here. It is a collectible flag. Now, I'll talk about the flags in just a moment, don't worry. And no, I will not collect all of them because that is insanity in my opinion. So first we seek out the basket weaver and simply pickpocket the letter from him. Pickpocketing is super simple and probably one of the least developed mechanics in the game, I would say. It does work fine, but I don't know, it just feels anticlimactic a little bit. Finally, we listen to Masun here and we follow him until he's in a secluded place and then beat the ever-letting snot out of him. And these are the main 3 mechanics we'll be using throughout the game. I'll talk about this again in just a second.
I yield! Speak quickly then. I've no interest in your games. Why did you betray us?
You stand accused of betraying our brotherhood and opening the way for our enemies. How do you answer to these charges?
I deny nothing. I'm proud of what I did. My only regret is that they failed.
I offer you a chance to repent, to renounce the evil in your heart.
It is not evil in my heart, but truth. I will not repent.
Then you will die. You did well, Altair, and have earned the right to carry a blade once more.
I've passed your test then. What now?
Oh, my child, we've only just begun. I hold here a list. 9 names adorn it. 9 men who need to die. They are plague bringers, war makers. Their power and influence corrupts the land and ensures the crusades continue. You will find them. Kill them. In doing so, you'll sow the seeds of peace, both for the region and for yourself. In this way, you might be redeemed.
And now, with sword in hand and hidden blade at our wrist, we can finally make our way to Damascus. Alright, I guess we have time for a little short example fight.
And now the flags in Masyaf. I think to myself, listen, only 20 flags? Clearly we should be able to get all of them easily, right? For the first 2 hours of the game, I actually think to myself, well, wait, maybe I'll just collect all of the flags in the entire game. Yeah, it's a little bit tedious, and it gives you no in-game reward whatsoever. So even though my completionist in my soul is longing for it, yeah, I think we're not going to do that, because at the end of the day, I would probably be just looking up some guides on where exactly everything is, and let's be honest, you find 99 flags and you're missing that one and you have to revisit every single location. Not going to do that. Also, while there's only 20 in Masyaf, there's a little bit more in some other areas. Because there aren't only just 20 of them, no, there's rather 100. Yeah, you can forget about that.
Anyway, off to Damascus. For this, we first need a horse and then riding off to the kingdom, which is basically the overworld, so to speak. Within it, we're introduced to viewpoints, and yeah, this is where we must climb a tower to get a view of the local area. Now, if you played any modern Ubisoft game, this is where this mechanic originates from, okay? This is the point. It all turned around. And once you climb, you synchronize. And then it is time for a leap of faith.
Well, what happened here? What? Not enough faith in that leap? How does this happen? What the heck?
Within the overworld, there's 12 viewpoints, and I do decide to collect all of those, because that's not too bad. Also strewn about in this game are Templars, 60 of which you have to eliminate, which is another useless collectible. Ubisoft really loves to stuff those in their games, don't they? Now, regardless, on the way to Damascus, there are 2 more viewpoints, and then it is off to the city proper. Now, riding into this area, the city does look really awesome from afar. Maybe I'm still looking through this with rose-tinted glasses, but I don't know, man. This still looks pretty good. Once again, this is all in the context of the game being from 2007. We open the map and can see some additional information. And once again, if you played any modern Ubisoft game, you know exactly how this works. You find all of the viewpoints, which slowly show you the missions you need to complete in order to continue. Here we help a citizen who unlocks some scholars, and these will escort us into the city proper. That's pretty nice. Here we are in the poor district first, and we have 12 citizens to save, so how about we get started on that? I love when fighting, you can just grab one of the guys and throw him into the other. Something about them stumbling is deeply funny to me. We synchronize at the first viewpoint and find the first mission, which is pickpocketing from this guy. Now, one of the issues Assassin's Creed has is that even though the story throughout is quite interesting, and it keeps you interested, the gameplay mechanics that usually often bind it all together, they are a little bit lacking in terms of their story connection. There's only like 4 main mission types, with one of them being a little bit more diverse. But yeah, it's pretty much pickpocketing, as we've done before. There is eavesdropping, by sitting on a bench and just listening to people, like we've also previously seen, and then beating up someone when they're alone. And those are the main 3. There's also informant missions, which can come in a variety of ways, with escort missions, rooftop challenges, some assassinations, and some other different types. Overall, most of them are pretty trivial, and some of them are infuriatingly difficult, simply because if you mess up on one of those, then you have to redo them from the very beginning. It's quite annoying. So you get like 5 informant types and 3 main other types, all glued together by basically climbing countless tall buildings, in this case minarets, to synchronize and reveal the area of where you have to go. And in between, there's also saving the citizens, which, I'm telling you, it gets old real freaking fast.
As much as we're still at the beginning of the game, we have to address this. This game is repetitive. This game is repetitive. This game is repetitive. Okay, you get the joke. Anyway, to be fair, all modern Ubisoft games are kind of like this, because this is the game that created the formula, right? From Far Cry all the way to, Assassin's Creed to Watch Dogs. Now, mind you, not all of the games are bad by any means, right? Far Cry 3 has an amazing story and amazing characters, right? Assassin's Creed 2 is, it's such a huge upgrade you don't even know. Even though this is the start of it all, it is really not as polished as it could be. That's all I'm saying.
So for the rest of the retrospective, I'll try to focus mainly on the story, because like I said, the gameplay, it barely evolves from this point onward. I don't think it's like really bad, and the parkouring, as of right now at least, is still fun, and the game works well enough so that it keeps you interested in getting to the next assassination. Wait a second. Of course, the assassination! After completing at least 3 of the investigation missions, you can start the actual assassination. However, I will not do that. I will do all of the investigations, including the 2 extra ones, which basically is collecting all of the viewpoints, as well as saving all of the citizens. And after doing exactly this, we enter the Assassin's Bureau.
Altair, it is good to see you, and in one piece. You as well, friend. I am sorry for your troubles. Think nothing of it. A few of your brothers were here earlier, in fact. Oof, if you'd heard the things they said, I'm certain you'd have slain them where they stood.
It's quite all right.
Yes, you've never been one for the creed, have you?
Is that all?
I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget myself. What business brings you to the Mass?
A man named Tamir. Al-Muallim takes issue with the work he does. I meant to end it.
I trust you have searched the area to better understand your enemy.
Yes. Here's what I've learned. Tamir rules over the Souk El Salah. He makes his fortune selling arms and armor, and is supported by many in this endeavor. Blacksmiths, traders, financiers. He's the single largest death dealer in the land.
And have you devised a way to rid us of this blight?
A meeting is being arranged at Souk El Salah to discuss an important sale. They say it's the largest deal Tamir has ever made. He'll be distracted with his work. That's when I'll strike.
Your plan seems solid enough. I give you leave to go.
After sleeping, this now triggers the assassination mission, which is always at the end of the story block. Here, after gathering the information, we must end Tamir, a wealthy merchant who is selling arms to God knows who. Entering the market sphere, we get a cool cutscene too, just showing off how nice of a guy this is.
And you say I asked too much? You dare disrespect me?
Peace, Tamir. I meant no insult.
Then you should have kept your mouth shut.
No! Stop!
Stop? I'm just getting started.
No! Stop!
You came into my souk, stood before my men, and dared to insult me? You must learn your place!
No. Leave the body. Let this be a lesson to the rest of you. Think twice before you tell me something cannot be done. Now get back to work.
Now here, I just double check if it's the right guy and I simply slowly walk up to him and yeah. Every time you assassinate a high-value target like this, a small dialogue between Altair and the target commences. I really like this. It humanizes them right before the end, and it also delivers some more story exposition.
Do not profit from suffering any longer.
You think me some petty death dealer, suckling at the breast of war? A strange target, don't you think? Why me, when so many others do the same?
You believe yourself different then?
Oh, but I am. For I serve a far nobler cause than mere profit. Just like my brothers.
Brothers?
Ah, but he thinks I act alone. I am but a piece. A man with a part to play. You'll come to know the others soon enough. They won't take kindly to what you've done.
Good. I look forward to ending their lives as well.
Such pride. It will destroy you, child.
After an assassination, the city is on high alert, so any guard that sees you immediately attacks you. However, we escape back to the Assassin's Bureau and we complete the first memory block. Nice.
Victory to Al-Malim. I'm certain he has more work for you to do.
Fast-forwarding memory to a more recent one.
Report of the Animus, and we're back with Desmond.
Out of the machine, Mr. Miles.
What's the matter, Doc?
Miss Stillman is once again insisting I let you rest.
And get to sleep, and also a strange glimpse at a vision. Alright, that was ominous. But before we jump back into the Animus, we get a little bit of background information.
Where's Lucy?
Oh, don't worry, she'll be with us soon enough.
So why are you doing all this, Doc? What are you hoping to accomplish?
You turned the television on lately? Read the newspaper?
Never cared much for that stuff.
Then, let me sum it up for you. The world's a mess. It's pathetic, really. You've seen it firsthand yourself. 1,000 years between you and your ancestor, and society remains just as barbaric, just as stupid.
And your point is?
Order, Mr. Miles. The world needs order. That is what we're working towards, and that is what you're helping us to achieve.
You expect me to believe you're building a better tomorrow?
That's exactly what we're doing. The human race calls out for direction. They want to know why they're here, what they're meant to do. Well, we're going to tell them. And once they understand how to live their lives, everything will be better.
Alright then, back to the machine. Back to the past.
And as we jump back to the past, here is an interesting development. This is actually my second PlayStation, and yeah, there's been a few strange bugs here and there. In the first one, yeah, it turns it up to 11, sadly. I don't know why this is or where this is coming from, and specifically also getting the game to run is a nightmare as well. However, yeah, there's some sort of audio issue. There's some audio crackles, and sometimes, which is really just strange, there's like duplicated and desynced audio. I don't know why that is the case. Now, it happened in the first part as well. However, it was not as bad as it is here. I mean, just listen to this.
Al-Muallim has asked.
Ask that you perform some
Now, sometimes these things just happen when you try to run a nearly 20-year-old game on modern hardware, but it's still sad to see.
Anyway, in the background you've already seen it, and we now have the counter available to us again. I'm telling you, this will make fights much easier. For this next portion, we are sent to both Acre and Jerusalem. Now, I want to see the Holy City first, so that's where we'll go. However, before we go, I make sure to get all but one viewpoint within the kingdom. Yeah, sure, it's a bonus mission, akin to the Templars and Flags, but come on, it's like 12 of them, and also it does get you to show everything on the map, so I don't know, it's pretty good. So we climb a bunch of towers, synchronizing and surveying the land, until finally we get to Jerusalem. And here, once again, the approach is quite epic. The city from afar looks awesome and huge. And here, to easily get into the city, we once again rescue a citizen outside, which will spawn scholars, and we can simply follow along, and in we are. Now in Jerusalem, as well as in Acre, as we'll see, you have to contend with guards on roofs this time. They can pose a serious threat because they usually come equipped with bows, so you do have to deal with them quickly. In Jerusalem, we have to eliminate the slaver known as Talal. He pretty much has an entire army behind him, and those men are all wearing black and yellow clothing, so this is not a casual target. Anyway, the first part of this investigation has us learn that Talal hosts the slaves inside of a warehouse. Here you'll find the cities have completely different feels. Jerusalem's rooftops are completely different to those of Damascus and those of Acre. But that's also kind of where the differences end. The missions themselves are, yeah, pretty much the same again. Saving the citizens, climbing 9 viewpoints that are strewn about, and doing the same investigation missions. Something that is kind of cool is that the viewpoints are a little bit different in Jerusalem. They come in a little bit more of a variety. Like, you'll still find the minaret to climb, but there's also churches over here, and of course different types of buildings. We find another informant, which this time has an assassination mission. In this instance, we have to stealth assassinate 2 targets without getting caught. And then just by sheer luck, I think I've just discovered a new speedrunning trick. If you are speedrunning Assassin's Creed 1, which I don't think anyone is, but okay, who knows? And if this is not a known trick, you can skip the dialogue after finishing a mission, be it an investigation, saving a citizen, by just jumping into them and then talking to them while jumping into them. It will skip the entire dialogue. When I did this for the first time, something in my mind clicked, and I think I knew this before, but I have completely forgotten about it. And I'll be using this for every citizen save because they just say the same stuff over and over again, and it doesn't deliver you any information at all. We have another informant mission, which has us collect flags in a time trial. Okay, sure. The layout of these flags is done in such a way that you can more or less just easily parkour from the beginning all the way to the last flag and then be done with it. Now, I sadly missed one of the flags, so oops, but you know, 3 minutes in this, it's given quite generous, so there's no time pressure at all. And that's pretty much it. We pickpocket a map of Talal's guards' positions and lastly escort the other informant who gives us this.
Thank you, brother. Take this map. It lists Talal's hiding places. Useful information should that coward choose to run instead of fight. And from what I know of the man, run is what he'll do. Right, and that's all of the investigations done, and so off we are to the Assassin's Bureau again. Sadly, this awesome cutscene is plagued by some of the sound issues I spoke about earlier, but I'll just let some of it play regardless.
Safety and peace, Malik.
Your presence here deprives me of both. What do you want?
Al-Muallim has asked.
Asked that you perform some menial task in an effort to redeem yourself. So be out with it.
Very well. Here's what I know. He traffics in human lives, kidnapping Jerusalem citizens and selling them into slavery. His base is a warehouse located inside the Barbican, north of here. As we speak, he prepares a caravan for travel. I'll strike while he's inspecting his stock. If I can avoid his men, Talal himself should prove little challenge.
Little challenge? Listen to you. Such arrogance.
Are we finished? Are you satisfied with what I've learned?
No. But it will have to do. Rest, prepare, cry in the corner. Do whatever it is you do before a mission. Only make sure you do it quietly.
Alright, off we are to assassinate the slaver Talal. Entering his warehouse, he actually expected us to visit.
What now, slaver?
Do not call me that. I only wish to help them, as I myself was helped.
You do no kindness imprisoning them like this.
Imprisoning them? I keep them safe, preparing them for the journey that lies ahead.
What journey?
It seems I cannot help you, for you do not wish to help yourself. And I cannot allow my work to be threatened. You leave me no choice. You must die.
Listen, okay, this is an unfair fight. And you know why? 10 people up against me? Only 10? Let's go, baby.
While making short work of them, we have to follow Talal and chase him across the city. Now, I almost have him, but then get shoved by one of his goons, and I can't believe it. But luckily though, we saved so many citizens, we have plenty of vigilantes running around helping us, so we can easily catch up to him and haha.
You've nowhere to run now. Share your secrets with me.
My part is plain. The Brotherhood is not so weak that my death will stop its work.
What Brotherhood?
Al-Mualim is not the only one with designs upon the Holy Land. And that's all you'll have from me.
Then we are finished. Beg forgiveness from your god.
He's long abandoned us. Long abandoned the men and women I took into my arms.
What do you mean?
Beggars, whores, addicts, lepers. Do they strike you as proper slaves? Unfit for even the most menial tasks? No. I took them not to sell, but to save. And yet you'd kill us all. For no other reason than it was asked of you.
No. You profit from the war. From lives lost and broken.
Yes, you would think that, ignorant as you are. Wall off your mind. They say it's what your kind do best. Do you see the irony in all this? No, not yet it seems. But you will.
Well, these are curious words that Talal spoke. The same thing that happened before with Tamir, who also repudiated that he did anything wrong. Interesting. However, let's proceed to Al-Mualim. And sadly, this cutscene too is plagued by horrible sound syncing issues. I'll let this one play for just a little bit so you can hear what I mean.
Trust you were successful?
The slave trader is dead.
Yes, the birds brought word to me. War is a dirty business. Labor and soldiers seem to be in short supply. Killing that man has saved countless lives. You've no doubt deprived the Crusaders and Saracens of additional troops.
Claimed they were not slaves at all, that he was helping them.
Do you know how it is you can tell a man is mad?
They speak to air, claw themselves.
No. They are the ones who speak and act as if there is nothing wrong.
I don't understand.
Few are the men who would admit to evil. Always rationalized. Always explained.
So he lied.
Everyone deceives. Each other, themselves. Learn to pierce the veil. And know that nothing is true. Go. It is time you continued with your work.
I mean, what the heck? And we also gained some new awesome skills and equipment, mainly the throwing knives. I do remember them to be a little bit lackluster in AC1 because the locking on is a little bit weird. However, I do remember them in the sequels, they are very powerful. Anyway, back to the kingdom map and getting the last viewpoint directly next to Acre. And then... And this also finishes off the additional mission. Running into Acre, off we are. Coming towards the city, at least the entrance and further walls, is quite devastated. To give some historical context, Assassin's Creed 1 takes place in 1191, which is exactly when the siege of Acre concluded. And this is after almost 2 years of a siege, so you are bound to still find an echo about this in the city. And so we see it here. Pretty neat. Anyway, we sort of sneak into the city by using a way on top of the guards, which... Okay, I mean, it's not really that stealthy, but we're in, so that's all that counts. Our target in Acre is a Christian doctor from the Knights Hospitaller, Garnier de Naplouse. He seems to be healing people, but with cruel and unusual methods. Let's investigate. Well, we find out that Garnier is doing crazy experiments, that he forgets the world around him when he's working, and that only scholars and guards are allowed into his fortress. Alright then. Obviously, we also get all of the viewpoints and rescue all of the citizens here, but that's pretty much all of the interesting stuff that happens. However, then we get to the assassination itself, and here it gets a little bit strange. First, of course, we visit the burrow.
Al-Mualim has ordered the execution of Garnier de Naplouse.
The Grand Master of the Knights Hospitalier?
Indeed. And I have already determined when and how to strike.
Share your knowledge with me, then.
He lives and works within the Order's hospital, northwest of here. Rumors speak of atrocities committed within its walls. It seems the good doctor enjoys experimenting on innocent citizens. Most of them kidnapped and brought here from Jerusalem. Garnier keeps mainly to his quarters inside the hospital, though he leaves occasionally to inspect his patients. It's when he makes his rounds that I will strike.
It's clear you've given this some thought. I give you leave to go.
And then when it comes to strike, I think to myself, hey, let's take this open window into the complex. I am sure that this is a great idea. Well, it turns out I am not supposed to be in this region just yet. Because, you see, we continue walking, and then we see Garnier just standing there. And so I do the only thing I know how to do. Assassinate him, of course. Now this triggers the citywide search denoted by the red outline on the HUD. However, it didn't trigger the cutscene because I somehow sequence broke the game with this. And it's such a shame this didn't count. I mean, I get it, you would miss out on the cutscene before. Now, even though the entire city was looking for me, luckily I was able to sneak in the proper way with some scholars. And then we can actually see why he is our next target. And
help! Help me! Help me! Please! You must help me!
oh, would you look at that? The good doctor is alive again.
Enough, my child. I asked you to retrieve the patient, not to kill him. There. Everything will be all right.
No!
Give me your hand.
Don't touch me! Not again!
But you leave me no choice.
Every kind word matched by the back of his hand. All lies and deception. He won't be content until all bow before him.
You should not have done that. Return him to his quarters. I'll be along once I've tended to the
You
other.
can't keep me here. I'll escape again.
No, you won't. Break his legs, both of them. I am so sorry. Have you people nothing better to do?
Okay, yeah. Alright, well, I mean, we simply walk very slowly towards him, praying, and then just strike. And that's that. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Let go, your burden.
I'll rest now, yes. The endless dream calls to me. But before I close my eyes, I must know what will become of my children.
You mean the people made to suffer your cruel experiments? They'll be free now to return to their homes.
Homes? What homes? The sewers? The brothels? The prisons that we dragged them from?
You took these people against their will.
Yes. What little will there was for them to have. Are you really so naive? Do you appease a crying child simply because he wails? But I want to play with fire, Father. What would you say? As you wish. But then you'd answer for his burns.
These are not children, but men and women full grown.
In body, perhaps, but not in mind. Which is the very damage I sought to repair. I admit, without the piece of Eden, which you stole from us, my progress was slowed. But there are herbs, mixtures, and extracts. My guards are proof of this. They were madmen before I found and freed them from the prisons of their own minds. And with my death, madmen they will be again.
You truly believe you were helping them?
It's not what I believe. It's what I know.
Altair continues to uncover strange words from these targets. The leader of the Bureau says it best, though.
Yours is not to ask, but act, Altair. It doesn't matter what he did or why. Only that he's dead.
Well, alright then. That's some strange deflection upon asking a question, but fair enough. Before we can bring news back to Al-Mualim of the Doctor's passing, we are pulled out of the Animus once again. Yeah, so it seems like the machine is overheating. Oh well. Luckily though, this allows us a brief moment to talk to Lucy.
You're not the only one who doesn't get to go home at night.
Wait, are you saying you're a prisoner?
When they first approached me, I was finishing up my PhD. The university had made it clear I had no future there. They didn't like the subject of my doctorate, called it pseudoscience. Said keeping me on would discredit and embarrass them. It was the same everywhere.
And he offered you a job?
Yes, here at Abstergo, helping out on the Animus project. I'd have a chance to test my theories and prove the professors wrong. How could I turn that down?
I think I'm missing the part where you became a prisoner.
Sometimes I wonder if they weren't behind it all. If they manipulated events so that I'd get desperate. They can do that. They can do anything.
And when the Animus was ready?
That's what they came in while I was sleeping. 3 guys. Guns. They dragged me out of bed. God. The worst part is I knew them. They were cracking jokes. I tried to pull away. he hit me. And that's when he told me I was going to die.
Christ, what did you do?
Nothing. I kept telling myself it wasn't real. And then Warren was there, shouting at them to get away from me. And they listened.
Jesus.
He's not a happy man, Desmond. I wouldn't even say he's a good man, but he saved my life. They never came for me again. And he promised they never would.
You're still stuck here working for these nut jobs.
But I'm alive. Anyway, I really do need to get the Animus repaired. I'll see you tomorrow, Desmond.
After a night's sleep and once again some strange flash of something, the doctor waits us with,
Rise and shine. We've got quite a day ahead of us.
Alright, he also talks a little bit about how Abstergo is responsible for almost all innovations in the past 1,000 years. Okay, well, regardless of the boring old present, let's get back to the past again.
3 of the 9 lay dead, and for this you have my thanks. But do not think to rest upon your laurels. Your work has just begun.
I'm yours to command, Master.
King Richard, emboldened by his victory at Acre, prepares to move south towards Jerusalem. Salahadin is surely aware of this, and so he gathers his men before the broken citadel of Arsuf.
Would you have me kill them both then? End their war before it begins in earnest?
No. To do so would scatter their forces and subject the realm to the bloodlust of 10,000 aimless warriors.
Give me names and I'll give you blood.
So I will. Abun Nukud, the wealthiest man in Damas, Majduddin, regent of Jerusalem, William of Montferrat, liege lord of Acre.
What are their crimes?
Greed, arrogance, the slaughter of innocents.
So here we have 3 more targets in 3 cities we've already been to, just within different districts. Luckily, as we leave Messiah Castle, the game prompts us if we wanted to fast travel. I really appreciate this, because having to ride all the way through the kingdom again would be just another tedious task, which really is not necessary. We travel to Damascus first to tackle the hunt for Abu Nukot, the merchant king of Damascus, and the richest man in the city. For this, I go to the outskirts, which I really shouldn't have done. I should have gone to the Assassin's Bureau immediately. I gotta spare myself some climbing and walking, because the burrows are conveniently placed close to the tri-point between all of the districts. Regardless though, we climb the first viewpoint and get all of the others revealed. And I'm sorry to say, we're back in the same loop again. We have to save 10 citizens and 11 viewpoints to climb.
Something I noticed during this play session, specifically in this memory block, I actually think not climbing every viewpoint and saving every citizen would be a way better experience compared to, well, what I'm doing right now. Because I'm telling you, it is so repetitive, it is crazy. I'll talk about this later in the conclusion, but man. And obviously there's a few informant ones which are, well, at least different, although they can be quite infuriating, as we'll see. But I don't know, listening to a person, then beating them up, listening to a person and then pickpocketing from them, or listening to a person and then listening to a person. That's like all that this is. So the thing I'm saying is that if you play the game only doing the needed 3 investigations instead of doing all 6, and then also not really climbing all of the viewpoints and maybe leaving the occasional citizen to their fate, I think the game might actually become super short, which is very strange in terms of trade-off, right? Either you get a short game, which is quite nice and quite fun, or you get a very tedious, repetitive game, but it's a bit longer. I don't know, not an easy decision to make. Well, it was for me. I'll, of course, do everything, except for the flags. I won't do the flags.
Anyway, we continue our investigation by punching the snot out of this speaker, and yeah.
I'll talk. I've no interest in dying for him. His coin's not worth my life.
Why?
Not fear. Hate. He hates himself as much as he hates the people he pretends to serve. Locks himself away in his personal quarters out of shame.
He can't stay hidden forever.
Alright, so the Merchant King sounds like a super pleasant guy to be around. After collecting more flags, another informant tells us that the fountain in the middle of the courtyard can be scaled. Man, that's some really useful information, man. Listen, sorry if I sound a little bit jaded or sarcastic, but like, not doing all of these investigations might make the assassinations way harder. But so far, it seems like the investigations, they're lacking some depth. Like, for example, a game like Hitman has. There you get like 100 different approaches to get rid of someone. And here, well, we'll see how the assassination goes in a sec. And so we finally learn the Merchant King is preparing a feast where he will talk to the people. Well, that's when we'll strike.
I envy you, Altair. Well, Not the bit where you were beaten and stripped of your rank, but I envy everything else. Oh, except for the terrible things the other assassins say about you. But yes, aside from the failure and the hatred, yes, aside from those things, I envy you very much.
If you're finished, I've gathered the information required to begin my task. His guards and servants should have their hands full dealing with the guests. They won't even know I'm there.
Most impressive, my friend. The others said you'd make a mess of things, but not I. No, I was sure you'd come through, and come through you have. The Bureau is yours to do with as you please until you're ready to begin.
And it's as easy as simply entering the palace, and there he comes onto the balcony to give a speech. And yeah, alright, that's pretty much exactly what I expected him to look like.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Please eat, drink, enjoy all the pleasures I have to offer. Take your time, I will wait. I trust everything is to your satisfaction.
Most excellent, most excellent.
Compassion, mercy, tolerance. These words mean nothing to any of you. Mean nothing to those infidel invaders who ravage our land in search of gold and glory. And so I say, enough! I've pledged myself to another cause. One that will bring about a new world in which all people might live side by side in peace. A pity none of you will live to see it. Kill anyone who tries to escape.
During all of this chaos, I try not to make too much of a fuss, climb the walls, and intend to take out the guards with one of my throwing knives, but the pillar blocked my knife. What a real shame, man. I just, I started to book it. And there he is, all alone. We start running after him, and even though half an army is trying to stop us, he runs to the streets? You have a giant palace with hundreds of guards around, and you flee to outside your walls, where all of the people hate you? Honestly, that serves him right. One of the vigilantes wrestles him into submission, and we just casually stroll up and strike.
Be at peace now. Their words can no longer do harm.
Why have you done this?
You stole money from those you claim to lead, sent it away for some unknown purpose. I want to know where it's gone and why.
Look at me. My very nature is an affront to the people I ruled. And these noble robes did little more than to muffle their shouts of hate. A minor evil for a greater good? We are the same.
No, we are nothing alike.
Ah, but I see it in your eyes. You doubt. You cannot stop us. We will have our new world.
Alright, going back to the Bureau, the same seeds of doubt are planted once again, similar to the last assassination. We'll see what Al-Mualim has to say about this.
Freeing these cities from their corrupt leaders will no doubt promote the cause of peace.
Can you really be so sure?
The means by which men rule are reflected in their people. As you cleanse the cities of corruption, you heal the hearts and minds of those who live within.
Our enemies would disagree.
What do you mean?
Each man I've slain has confessed strange words to me. They are without regret. Even in death, they seem confident of their success. Though they do not admit it directly, there is a tie that binds them. I'm sure of it.
There is a difference, Altair, between what we are told to be true and what we see to be true. Most men do not bother to make the distinction. It is simpler that way. But as an assassin, it is your nature to notice, to question.
Then what is it that connects these men?
Ah, but as an assassin, it is also your duty to still these thoughts and trust in your master. For there can be no true peace without order. And order requires authority.
You speak in circles, Master. You commend me for being aware, then ask me not to be. Which is it?
The question will be answered when you no longer need to ask it.
And off we are to Acre to slay the next target. This time it is the city's regent, William of Montferrat. But before, of course, we must scale 11 viewpoints again, including one that is both super frustrating, but also is the coolest in the whole game. We also get to save another 9 citizens again, next to during our investigations, of course. Because Acre is controlled by the Crusaders at this point, it's actually quite cool because you can hear them speak different languages. Sometimes there's some German I laugh at, which is pretty cool. But there's also some French and English, of course. Now, once again, we do a lot of the same stuff. I don't know what to tell you, right? It's the same investigations over and over again. And even though the details are a little bit different, it just is what it is. Although I do have one thing to complain about in just a little bit. But first, I try and fail to climb this giant church over here. Because you can't climb the towers or from the sides. No, you actually have to just use the front. Alright, sure then. And I will say this, reaching the very top, this is probably the highest viewpoint of them all. This is a pretty cool freaking sight, man. And now on to my new favorite informant mission. Eliminating 3 archers without being seen. Holy shit. I probably spent 15 minutes redoing this stuff 8 times because something would always go wrong. An archer detects me, I accidentally run into one of the guards, voiding the mission even though all of the archers are already dead. I accidentally jump into the ocean. Oh man, and when I finally make it, thank God. And luckily the last investigation is just a quick flag challenge. Overall, we learn that William is having a bit of a fallout with Richard, the King of England, and we are in Acre at the exact same time as Richard is leaving. After William retreats back into his castle, he is going to pout for a little bit, and that's when we'll strike.
It's true, they've never been close. This works to my advantage. Richard's visit has upset him. Once the king has left, William will retreat into his fortress to brood. He'll be distracted. That's when I will strike. You're sure of this? As sure as I can be. And if things change, I'll adapt. Then I give you leave to go.
And just as we expected, as we make our way to William's castle, we can see him exiting with King Richard Lionheart. How exciting.
I was told they would be held as prisoners, used to barter for the release of our men.
The Saracens would not have honored that end of the bargain. You know this to be true. I did you a favor.
Oh, yes. A great favor indeed. Now our enemies will be that much stronger in their convictions. Fight that much harder.
I know our enemy well. They will not be emboldened, but filled with fear.
Tell me, how is it you know the intentions of our enemies so well? We'll have to continue this another time.
Do not let me delay you then, Your Grace.
One thing that's a little bit unrealistic is them bickering in front of the crowd of people. Also, I know the tech at the time was limited. I mean 2007, not 1191. But if the king was here, there would be thousands of people watching, like without a doubt. Regardless though, we make our way slowly through the courtyard, but there is an incredible amount of guards here. On the rooftops, it's a little bit easier though, but still, there's a lot of them too. But easily enough, we position ourselves behind William, lock onto him, and then... Thanks for nothing, man. I already locked onto him, and it didn't target him at all. What a lackluster ending. So I intentionally get myself killed, and we do it again. And even though it wasn't quite the way I intended, yeah, we do it this time.
Rest now. Your schemes are at an end.
What do you know of my work?
I know that you are going to murder Richard and claim Acre for your son Conrad.
For Conrad? My son is an arse, unfit to lead his host, let alone a kingdom. The city belongs to its people.
How can you claim to speak for the citizens? You stole their food, disciplined them without mercy, forced them into service under you.
Everything I did to prepare them for the new world. Stole their food? No. I took possession so that when the lean times came, it might be rationed properly. Look around. My district is without crime, save those committed by you and your ilk. And as for the conscription, they were not being trained to fight. They were being taught the merits of order and discipline. These things are hardly evil.
No matter how noble you believe your intentions, these acts are cruel and cannot continue.
We'll see how sweet they are, the fruits of your labors. You do not free the cities as you believe, but rather damn them. And in the end, you'll have only yourself to blame. You, who speak of good intentions.
Alright, enough is enough. After quite a few times, and a lot of doubts being sown, Altair finally pushes Al-Mualim to tell him what the frick is going on.
I sense your thoughts are elsewhere. Speak your mind.
Each man I'm sent to kill speaks cryptic words to me. Each time I come to you and ask for answers. Each time you give only riddles in exchange. But no more.
Who are you to say no more?
I'm the one who does the killing. If you want it to continue, you'll speak straight with me for once.
Tread carefully, boy. I do not like your tone.
And I do not like your deception.
I have offered you a chance to restore your lost honor.
Not lost. Taken. By you. And then you've sent me to fetch it again like some damn dog.
It seems I'll need to find another. A shame. You showed great potential.
I think if you had another, you'd have sent him long ago. You said the answer to my question would arise when I no longer needed to ask it. So I will not ask. I demand you tell me what binds these men.
What you say is true. These men are connected by a blood-oath not unlike our own.
Who are they?
Non nobis, domine non nobis.
Templars.
Now you see the true reach of Robert de Sales.
All of these men, leaders of cities, commanders of armies.
All pledge allegiance to his cause.
Their works are not meant to be viewed on their own, are they? But as a whole, what do they desire?
Conquest. They seek the Holy Land not in the name of God, but for themselves.
What of Richard? Salah-ad-Din?
Any who oppose the Templars will be destroyed. Be assured they have the means to accomplish it.
Then they must be stopped.
That is why we do our work, Altair. To ensure a future free of such things.
Why did you hide the truth from me?
That you might pierce the veil yourself. Like any task, knowledge precedes action. Information learned is more valuable than information given. Besides, your recent behavior had not inspired much confidence.
I see.
Altair, your mission has not changed. Merely the context within which you perceive it.
And he tells us. Next off, we are back to Jerusalem again to eliminate Majd-ad-Din. This is the ruler of the city, and he is using only intimidation and violence to rule. Oh my.
Now, when I tell you the backstory of these targets, I'll say this. I've already pieced everything together while playing the game. One of the real bummers here is that when it comes to the introductions of the targets, you only see them for the first time just before the assassination mission. I talk about this a little bit more in my conclusion, but I don't know, there's something genuinely missing here. It's a shame.
In Jerusalem's poor district, we luckily only have 6 viewpoints to cover and 8 citizens to rescue. But regardless of that, the same old drudgery continues. And once again here, it's very strange. Not doing all of these would actually make the game just a little bit more enjoyable. So just trying to 100% all of the different objectives here, it makes it worse. It's very strange. Overall, the investigations are nothing too crazy, although this one gives us super useful information.
Cleaning the temple steps. I overheard 2 scholars praising how easy it was for them to pass the soldiers guarding the entrance of the execution plaza.
And another investigation which shows a little bit of a backstory is one of the eavesdrops.
He's to be executed today.
No, I won't allow it.
But what can we do?
Now, the real issue is that none of these investigations really lead to anything concrete. So, for example, sometimes they will give you a map, right? Here is a map of all of the different guards that are strewn about. You don't get to access this map, you can't see the map, and it doesn't show anywhere. So it's really hard, it's so strange that even though these investigations are needed for the assassination to take place, there's nothing tangible you get out of it. And I feel like that's really what's missing here. Regardless, we return back to the bureau and...
I am not a novice.
A man's skill is defined by his actions, not the markings on his robe.
We can trade barbs or do Al-Mualim's work. It's your decision.
Then be out with it.
Al-Mualim has asked that Majd-ad-Din be slain. He is to hold a public execution not far from here. It's sure to be well guarded, but nothing I can't handle. I know what to do.
And that is why you remain a novice in my eyes. You cannot know anything, only suspect. You must expect to be wrong, to have overlooked something. Anticipate, Altair. How many times must I remind you of this?
Are we done?
Not quite. There is one more thing. One of the men to be executed is a brother. One of us. Al-Mulim wishes for him to be saved. Do not worry about the actual rescue. My men will take care of that. But you must ensure Majduddin does not take his life.
And here we even get a little bit of an extra mission to also save one of our Brotherhood, which is slated for execution. Alright, I appreciate that one. We get to the execution point, and there he is.
People of Jerusalem, hear me well. This evil must be purged. Only then can we hope to be redeemed.
This is not justice. And all of you stand idle, complicit in this crime.
Cut you all! See how the evil of one man spreads to corrupt others?
I see the scholars at the side and I'm like, oh, this is my plan. So I go over to them and because this fucking possessed asshole shoved me, the entire crowd starts running. Oh my god, that's an assassin. What the heck, man? So I once again get myself killed because I don't want to eliminate this guy like this, right? Second time around, I'm actually able to reach the scholars. And then, as soon as I leave the scholars, yeah, I get found out and the guards rush in anyway. It's stupid. I don't know what they wanted me to do here, man, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So we just fight with Majd and we do one counter, and then once he's down, it automatically turns into an assassination.
Your work here is finished.
No, it had only just begun.
Tell me, what's your part in all of this? Do you intend to defend yourself as the others have and explain away your evil deeds?
The Brotherhood wanted the city. I wanted power. There was an opportunity.
An opportunity to murder innocents.
Not so innocent. Dissident voices cut deep as steel. They disrupt order. In this, I do agree with the Brotherhood.
You'd kill people simply for believing differently than you.
Of course not. I killed them because I could. Because it was fun. Do you know what it feels like to determine another man's fate? And did you see the way the people cheered? The way they feared me? I was like a god.
Alright then, well, we're taken out of the Animus again, and we find time to talk to Lucy once more, and find out a little bit more about what's going on.
I'm ending the session. I'll be right there. You're sure about this? Yes. No. Everything's Denver. I don't see how he could... Of course. I understand. You're in a lot of trouble, Mr. Miles.
What's his problem?
They're coming for you.
Who's coming for me? Me?
Assassins.
Hey, I had nothing to do with this.
Sounds like they're mounting some kind of rescue attempt. That little fight your ancestors started during the Third Crusade, it never ended. You're being held by Templars.
Vidic's a Templar?
There's no way you could have known. They hide it so well. I guess the best way to explain it is, what they want is good. But the way they're going about it, it's bad. Really bad.
What are they trying to do?
I'm sorry, Desmond, I have to go. You should turn in for the night. The answers to all of your questions are right in front of you. You just have to know where to look.
Now, if we leave and come back, we can actually find Lucy's access pen on the Animus, and with it, we're able to log into her computer. We can read some of her emails, and one of the most concerning ones is the Abstergo corporate policy, which ends in Abstergo shall be entitled to injunctive in addition to any other remedies which it may have available. What? What a grim future is this? I mean, I guess the one we're living in right now. Oh, man. Great. Anyway, additionally, Lucy is trying to find out the death of one of her friends who worked at Abstergo before. And as far as I can tell, we never really learned anything about this again. It just shows you that Abstergo is shady AF. Waking up the next morning, we also take the pen from Dr. Vidic so we can get to his computer next. And then, back to the past. First step, of course, as always, talk to Al-Mualim.
First, I have questions.
Ask them. I'll do my best to answer.
The merchant king of Damas murdered the nobles who ruled his city. Majduddin in Jerusalem used fear to force his people into submission. I suspect William meant to murder Richard, and hold Aqqa with his troops. These men were meant to aid their leaders. Instead, they chose to betray them. What I do not understand is why.
Is the answer not obvious? The Templars desire control. Each man, as you've noted, wanted to claim their cities in the Templar name, that the Templars themselves might rule the Holy Land and eventually beyond. But they cannot succeed in their mission.
Why is that?
Their plans depend upon the Templar treasure, the Peace of Eden. But we hold it now, and they cannot hope to achieve their goals without it.
What is this treasure?
It is temptation.
It's just a piece of silver.
Look at it.
What am I supposed to see?
This piece of silver cast out Adam and Eve. It turned staves into snakes, parted and closed the Red Sea. Ares used it to start the Trojan War, and with it a poor carpenter turned water into wine.
It seems rather plain for all the power you claim it has. How does it work?
He who holds it commands the hearts and minds of whoever looks upon it. Whoever tastes of it, as they say.
Then Gagne's men?
An experiment. Herbs used to simulate its effects, to be ready for when they held it.
Talel supplied them. Tamir equipped them. They were preparing for something. But what?
War.
And the others, the men who ruled the cities, they meant to gather up their people, make them like Gagne's men.
The perfect citizens, the perfect soldiers, a perfect world.
Robert de Sable must never have this back.
So long as he and his brothers live, they will try.
Then they must be destroyed.
Which is what I've had you doing. There are 2 more Templars who require your attention. One in Akka, known as Sibran. One in Damas, called Jubair.
And we finally have Altair's sword, and yes, I have a replica of it right here, which you've probably already seen before. And I love how he just starts swinging it around. This is not an easy blade to wield. It is not as light as one might think, and yeah.
And so we're back to Damascus again, and oh, I'm doing this out of order. Oopsie. Well, we're here to assassinate Jubair al-Hakim. He's gathering texts and books from the city, claiming them to be dangerous. And as for the investigations, there's only one that is vitally important in my opinion. We get this from an informant after destroying 3 merchant stalls. And this information is, Jubair wears golden robes and carries a pouch. Now you might say, what is this? This will be super useful to identify him later. However, before we do this, we have to pickpocket a letter from this guy, and oh my god. I had to redo this pickpocketing like 5 times, and each time the number of guard corpses just kept piling up. Like, I'm not kidding. I must have killed like nearly 30 guards here. And then finally, I'm able to pickpocket this damn letter. Anyway, returning to the bureau, we discuss our plans.
Al-Muallam has asked I take the life of the one they call Jubair. Salahadin's chief scholar? Yes. He's turned the other scholars of the city to his cause. Together they intend to work a great evil. How? They're collecting the city's knowledge. All its written words.
For what purpose?
To destroy them.
And where will this be done?
They move throughout the city. But first they meet at the Madrasa al-Qalasa. If I go there, I should find Jubair.
Excellent work as always, Altair. You can stop him before he has a chance to strike again.
Well, we're off to the meeting place and observe them and his followers.
Every single text in this city must be destroyed.
My friend, you must not do this. Much knowledge rests within these parchments, put there by our ancestors for good reason.
And what reason is this?
They are beacons, meant to guide us, to save us from the darkness that is ignorance.
No, these bits of paper are covered in lies. They poison your minds, and so long as they exist, you cannot hope to see the world the way it truly is.
You are wrong. These texts give the gift of knowledge. We need them.
You love your precious writings? You'd do anything for them?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Then join them! Any man who speaks as he is just as much a threat. Do any else among you wish to challenge me? Good! Your orders are simple enough. Go out into the city. Collect any remaining writings and add them to the piles in the streets. When you're done, we'll send a cart to collect them.
that they may be destroyed.
Now, the cool part about this assassination is that you have to eliminate all of the different targets. This is very straightforward with throwing knives, and we actually do so without being detected once. So we jump from roof to roof, getting these book burners one after the other, and then this one as well after the other, and this one too. Until finally, and this, honestly, it just worked out beautifully, we find Jubair alone in the garden as the last target, and we get him.
Why? Why have you done this?
Men must be free to do what they believe. It is not our right to punish one for thinking what they do, no matter how much we disagree.
Then what?
You of all people should know the answer. Educate them. Teach them right from wrong. It must be knowledge that frees them, not force.
They do not learn, fixed in their ways as they are. You are naive to think otherwise. Illness, for which there is but one cure.
You're wrong, and that's why you must be put to rest.
And so once more, we return to Al-Mualim.
Named is put to rest.
Then it would appear your work is nearly complete and your status restored.
A question, Master, if I may.
Ask, and I will answer.
Why these men? Jubair and Sabrand.
Ah, don't you see? They paved the way for change. Ensure threats both old and new are not given cause to intervene.
To weaken them is to weaken our enemy. I suppose that makes sense.
Were these men to continue their work, our work would quickly be undone.
How is that? We've caused them much grief.
We strike at the arms, yes. But this is a hydra that you face, and it is quick to replace that which is severed.
Then we should lop off its head and be done with this.
Soon. We are close. Only one more man stands between us and our ultimate goal.
I will return to my work. The sooner this last man dies, the sooner I might face our true enemy.
Before you go, I have a question for you.
Of course.
What is the truth?
We place faith in ourselves. We see the world the way it really is, and hope that one day all mankind might see the same.
What is the world, then?
An illusion. One which we can either submit to, as most do, or transcend.
What is it to transcend?
To recognize
nothing is true, and everything is permitted.
That laws arise not from divinity but reason. I understand now that our creed does not command us to be free. It commands us to be wise.
Do you see now why the Templars are a threat?
Whereas we would dispel the illusion, they would use it to rule.
Yes.
And off to the last target before we can cut off the head of the snake. Our next target is Master Sibrand, Grand Master of the Knights Teutonic, located in Acre. We learn that he is quite a paranoid man, driven almost to madness by the fear that he will be assassinated next. Acre's middle district also includes the harbor, which is actually a pretty nice change of scenery. Sadly, there's not that much going on here except for one viewpoint as well as the assassination, but we'll see this in a bit. And then one of the funniest scenes that I have in this entire gameplay might be a bunch of Teutonic Knights that were following me. So I started running and I started climbing the roof and they kept coming and I just started throwing them off the roof, one after the other. Oh, is it your turn now? No, you don't want to? Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's get this guy right. All right, there we go. And off we are to the next one. Yeah, this genuinely is one of the funniest ways to just deal with a lot of guards. It's crazy. And then this next investigation nearly broke me. I was genuinely so furious. Another informant mission where we had to stealth assassinate 3 targets. Well, usually I just go onto the roof and throw knives down. However, there's guards everywhere, including patrols, which will immediately spot you and void the mission. I don't even know how they saw me here. What do you mean? And here again, it just keeps happening. And then I just start killing every freaking guard and patrol in order to just like thin the herd, so to speak. But it almost didn't do anything. And the only thing it really did is pile up a bunch of guard corpses in a huge stack near where I need to do everything. So then, finally, after trying this investigation for like 10 times, I snuck towards the last target because the first 2 are covered. And I got him. Now I just need to get him without being seen. And here, I do it. And then it's just a matter of getting back to the informant without getting seen. And we luckily do it. Alright. Another very funny moment happens here during this eavesdrop. I really like this.
What's the meaning of this?
Two of you off in a corner, whispering, plotting? Nothing of the sort. We were only... Only what? What secrets are you keeping? You misunderstand. Damned assassins, they're probably here right now, watching us. Do you find this amusing? Do you? Well, laugh while you can.
No, I find this very amusing, actually. Yeah, thank you very much.
All of them! But we don't have the men.
Anyway, Master Sibrand is going to be at the docks. So, we go there and we find a very interesting display.
Perhaps they do not know you because you are not a man of God, but an assassin!
Never.
You wear the same robes.
If they cover themselves as we do, it is only to instill uncertainty and fear. You must not give in.
Are you calling me a coward? Challenging my authority? Are you perhaps hoping to turn my own knights against me?
William and Garnier were too confident, and they paid for this with their lives.
I won't make the same mistake. If you truly are a man of God, then surely the Creator will provide for you. Let him stay my hand.
Is that mad? Will none of you come forward to stop this? He is clearly poisoned by his own fear, compelled to see enemies where none exist.
Seems the people share my concern. What I do for Acre! Stay vigilant, men. Report any suspicious activity to the guard. I doubt we've seen the last of these assassins. Persistent bastards.
Okay, can I complain for just a second? Just a second, okay? When you are sitting on a pillar balancing like this, you can't throw knives. That is such bullshit. I wasn't able to throw the knife at the guy, and then when I jumped to the right, which I clearly basically like said, hey, jump to the right, I pressed the D button to jump to the right, Altair just goes for him because the focus was on him, and Altair is just like, oh yeah, let's just go for a swim, even though I can't swim. Bruh, really? Really? Anyway, second time around, we're just a little bit more careful, slowly inching our way towards Sibrand's ship, and yeah, we finally strike him pretty much at the perfect time.
Don't do this.
You are afraid.
Of course I am afraid.
But you'll be safe now, held in the arms of your god.
Have my brothers taught you nothing? I know what waits for me. For all of us.
If not your god, then what?
Nothing. Nothing waits. And that is what I fear.
You don't believe.
How could I, given what I know? What I've seen? Our treasure was the proof.
Proof of what?
That this life is all we have.
Linger a while longer then, and tell me of the part you were to play.
A blockade by sea. To keep the fool kings and queens from sending reinforcements. Once we...
Conquered the Holy Land?
Freed it, you fool. From the tyranny of faith.
Freedom? You worked to overthrow cities, control men's minds, murdered any who spoke against you.
I followed my orders, believing in my cause. Same as you.
And we escape once again by my favorite method of warfare, throwing guards off of roofs. Listen, this is my new favorite pastime, okay? It's so stupid, but it's so freaking effective. Now anyway, we make it back to the burrow and get pulled out of the Animus once more.
Understand there's a narrow launch window.
Wherever it's hidden, time to retrieve it.
Working on it.
And when it's done,
He'll be taken care of.
I want that progress report by tomorrow morning.
I've got some work I need to do. So you've got the rest of the night to yourself.
Oh great, yeah, I'm sure Abstergo has the best of intentions, oh my. Luckily though, we can talk to Lucy again, who fills us in with a little bit more backstory once more.
I think there's a problem with the Animus.
Nope, it's working fine.
I'm pretty sure it just ejected me
I'm
when
pretty sure you should shut up.
You ready to finally tell me what's going on?
We have to stop them, Desmond. When they access that last memory of yours, they're just getting started. They want to change everything. The way we live, the way we think, the way we are. You've gotten the lecture from Vidic about what's wrong with the world, how we need order and discipline, so they're going to give it to us. Only we don't have a say in the matter.
You're using me to find this Templar treasure? What do they call it? The Peace of Eden?
Yes.
Well, it's looking like it's at Messiah, so I don't know why they're wasting all this time with me. Why don't they just send their people to pick it up?
They can't. It's not that simple. The artifact from Messiah, they had it. It was destroyed in the accident.
Then what are they hoping for me? You know, for my ancestor to tell them?
They're hoping he'll show them where the other ones are.
You mean there's more than one of these things?
Oh, Desmond, you have no idea.
And now that we're left alone, we also get to read some of Vidic's emails. Basically, most of them just solidify that Abstergo is, they're actually the Illuminati controlling society in the background. Oh my. Next morning, just like every morning, we have another discussion with Vidic, which I actually think is very interesting and quite funny.
Some of the stuff I'm seeing in the Animus, sometimes it seems wrong. Untrue, like the history is off somehow.
It doesn't what, Mr. Miles? Match up with what you read on an online encyclopedia? What your high school history teacher taught you? Let me ask you something. Do these supposed experts have access to secret knowledge kept hidden from the rest of us?
There are books, letters, documents, all sorts of source material from back then. Some of it seems to contradict what the Animus is showing me.
Anyone can write a book, and they can put whatever they want on its pages. Anything. Used to be, we thought the world was flat.
Some people still do.
Yes.
Yeah, not only that, there's a lot of those nowadays too. Maybe Vidic was right, man. Honestly, maybe the Templars are right. Considering how we've progressed in the last 18 years, let's just have like someone mind control us, okay? Shit is getting ridiculous out there. But anyway, back to the past, and Al-Mulim is quite impressed.
Altair. Robert de Sable is now all that stands between us and victory. It is his mouth gives the orders. His hand pays the gold. With him dies the knowledge of the Templar treasure, and any threat it might pose.
I still don't understand how a simple bit of treasure could cause so much chaos.
The peace of Eden is temptation given form. What do he and his followers want? A world in which all men are united. I do not despise his goal. I share it. But I take issue with the means. Peace is something to be learned, to be understood, to be embraced.
He would force it.
And rob us of our free will in the process.
Strange to think of him in this way.
Never harbor hate for your victims, Altair. Such thoughts are poison, and will cloud your judgment.
Could he not be convinced, then, to end his mad quest?
I spoke to him in my way, through you. What was each killing, if not a message? But he has chosen to ignore us.
Then there's only one thing left to do.
Jerusalem is where you faced him first. It's where you'll find him now. Let this final offering lend you strength. Go, Altair. It's time to finish this.
And of course, our last target is Robert de Sable, who will attend the funeral of one of our previous targets, Majdadid. As for the investigations, the towers, and the saving of the citizens, listen, it's the last time. So, it's actually quite nice. In this case, though, none of them stick out at all. Neither the investigations, nor any particular towers, or any of the citizens. So, yeah, the only thing that is a little bit crazy to me is the amount of freaking guards there are. Holy moly. And also, they just, like, some of the guards, it's like a meat grinder, man. Like, look at this.
Like, I slay 10 guards, and another freaking 2 guards just come up being like, what happened here? Who did this? And after I get those, another 2 come up. Sometimes guards will in fact run away when a lot of guards around them have been slain. However, this doesn't happen nearly as often. I mean, think about it like this, okay? You got a guy that has just casually brought down 12 guards. There's 12 corpses lying around. Are you really gonna fight him? Really? I think not.
Anyway, after doing this, we get back to the burrow and we talk to Malik, and we have a little short heart-to-heart.
Safety and peace, Altair.
Upon you as well, brother.
Seems fate has a funny way with things.
Robert de Sable is in Jerusalem. I do not seek revenge, but knowledge.
Truly you are not the man I once knew.
My work has taught me many things, revealed secrets to me. But there are still pieces of this puzzle I do not possess.
What do you mean?
All the men I've laid to rest have worked together, united by this man. Robert has designs upon the land. This much I know for certain. But how and why, when and where, these things remain out of reach. Robert and his Templars walk the city. They've come to pay their respects to Majd-ud-Din. They'll attend his funeral, which means so will.
What is this that Templars would attend his funeral?
I have yet to divine their true intentions, though I'll have a confession in time. The citizens themselves are divided. Many call for their lives. Still others insist that they are here to parley, to make peace.
Peace?
Though their goal sounds noble, the means by which they'd achieve it are not. At least, that's what Al-Mualim told me.
So what is your plan?
I'll attend the funeral and confront Robert. Before I go, there's something I should say.
Be out with it.
I've been a fool.
Normally I'd make no argument, but what is this? What are you talking about?
All this time, I never told you I was sorry. Too damn proud. You lost your arm because of me. Lost Qadar. You had every right to be angry.
I do not accept your apology.
I understand.
No, you don't. I do not accept your apology because you are not the same man who went with me into Solomon's temple. And so you have nothing to apologize for.
Malik.
Perhaps if I had not been so envious of you, I would not have been so careless myself. I'm just as much to blame.
Don't say such things.
We are one. As we share the glory of our victories, so too should we share the pain of our defeat.
Man, can we appreciate the writing here for a little bit? Even though the investigations are a bit lackluster, the dialogue in basically each of the scenes is very well written in my opinion. I'll tie this all together a little bit more in my conclusion after this, but man. So off we are to the funeral to catch Robert de Sable.
These creatures cling to the shadows and run from any who would face them fairly. But not today. For since one stands among us, he mocks us with his presence and must be made to pay. Seize him! Bring him forward that God's justice might be done.
Yep, they actually just know that we're here. So, yeah, there's a lot of people attacking us right now. And the worst thing about it is there's two freaking archers. Now, I'm able to get one of them very easily. However, the other one is just out of range. Really, man? And in the process of trying to get him, I get got. Damn. Well, the second time around, I try to immediately go for the archer, which is... I just fail miserably at this point. However, I position myself below him so he can't shoot me. Listen, work smarter, not harder. And with this positional advantage, we slowly get rid of each of the combatants. However, somewhat strange is, as we're fighting with everyone, when Robert speaks, his voice seems different. Dare I say, a little bit fairer than you were expecting of the knight. I don't think I'll be paying. In fact, once we get him on the ground, boom. And...
I would see your eyes before you die.
Wait, what?
I sense you expected someone else.
What sorcery is this?
No sorcery. We knew you'd come. Robert needed to be sure he'd have time to get away.
So he flees.
We cannot deny your success. You have laid waste to our plans. First the treasure, then our men. Control of the Holy Land slipped away. But then he saw an opportunity to reclaim what has been stolen, to turn your victories to our advantage.
Al-Mualim still holds your treasure, and we've routed your army before. Whatever Robert plans, he'll fail again.
Ah, but it's not just Templars you'll contend with now.
Speak sense.
Robert rides for Asa to plead his case that Saracen and Crusader unite against the Assassins.
That will never happen. They have no reason to.
Had, perhaps. But now you've given them one. 9, in fact. The bodies you've left behind, victims on both sides. You've made the Assassins an enemy in common and ensured the annihilation of your entire order. Well done.
Not 9. 8.
What do you mean?
You are not my target. I will not take your life. You're free to go, but do not follow me.
I don't need to. You're already too late.
We'll see.
We escape from all the guards and return to Malik, who we inform of the deception.
What happened?
Robert de Sable was never here. He sent another in his stead. He was expecting me.
You must go to Al-Mualim.
There's no time. She told me where he's gone, what he plans. If I return to Masyaf, he might succeed. And then, I fear we'll be destroyed.
We have killed most of his men. He cannot hope to mount a proper attack. Wait. Did you say she?
Yes, it was a woman. Strange, I know. But that's for another time. For now, we must focus on Robert. We may have thinned his ranks, but the man is clever. He goes to plead his case to Richard and Salah ad-Din, to unite them against the common enemy. Against us.
Surely you're mistaken. This makes no sense. These two men would never...
Oh, but they would. And we have ourselves to blame. The men I've killed, men on both sides of the conflict. Men important to both leaders. Robert's plan may be ambitious, but it makes sense. And it could work.
Look, brother. Things have changed. You must return to Masyaf. We cannot act without our master's permission. It could compromise the Brotherhood. I thought you had learned this.
Stop hiding behind words, Malik. You wield the creed and its tenets like some shield. He's keeping things from us. Important things. You were the one told me we could never know anything, only suspect. Well, I suspect this business with the Templars goes deeper.
So off we ride to Arsuf. Now this is a place we haven't visited yet, so we have to do it manually through the kingdom once again. Now there's really anything exciting going on, so as we arrive in Arsuf after a short ride, this is actually quite interesting. Because this is the Battle of Arsuf that is literally currently going on. We enter the Saracen lines and first fight some of Saladin's men. And here, first of all, I just throw people off of a cliff here, so this is quite nice. However, you can only proceed to the next port after defeating everyone. Now this happens a couple of times. You have to slay like 10 soldiers each time before proceeding to the next stage. This, I really don't like this too much. This feels like super gamey, and the combat system really isn't that exciting that it like keeps you engaged for all of these fights. And also, can I just like point out how crazy it is that Altair has cut down like 200 men this quest? Sometimes 20 men at a time, all fighting him like veteran soldiers, and Altair's just like, no, you. And then at some point we break through the Saracen lines and we get to the Crusaders. So now we fight the Crusaders instead, which, hated by everyone. That's great. And so finally we approach the camp of King Richard.
Hold a moment. It's words I bring, not steel.
Offering terms of surrender then. It's about time.
You misunderstand. It's Al-Mualim who sends me, not Salah ad-Din.
Assassin! What is the meaning of this? And be quick with it!
You've a traitor in your midst.
And he has hired you to kill me? Come to gloat about it before you strike? I won't be taken so easily!
It's not you I've come to kill. It's him.
Speak then! That I may judge the truth! Who is this traitor?
Robert de Sable.
My lieutenant!
He aims to betray.
That's not the way he tells it. He seeks revenge against your people for the havoc you've wrought in Acre. And I am inclined to support him. Some of my best men were murdered by some of yours.
It is an assassin that stands before us. These creatures are masters of manipulation. Of course it isn't true.
I've no reason to deceive.
Oh, but you do. You're afraid of what will happen to your little fortress. Can it withstand the combined might of the Saracen and the Crusader army?
My concern is for the people of the Holy Land. If I must sacrifice myself for there to be peace, so be it.
This is a strange place we find ourselves in. Each of you accusing the other. It is a difficult decision, one I cannot make alone. I must leave it in the hands of one wiser than I.
Thank you.
No, Robert, not you.
Then who?
The Lord. Let this be decided by combat. Surely God will side with the one whose cause is righteous.
Trial by combat it is. But before we get to finish Robert, we get to fight 10 Templars. Listen, I guess King Richard really just wanted to know if God was on our side. Fair enough. And the fight itself, listen, it's just not that interesting. Once we down him with a counter, we simply switch to a hidden blade and finish him off. And finally, we bring peace to the land. Until he gives us a revelation.
Your schemes, like you, are put to rest.
You know nothing of schemes. You're but a puppet. He betrayed you, boy. Just as he betrayed me.
Speak sense, Templar. Or not at all.
9 men he sent you to kill, yes? The 9 who guarded the treasure's secret.
What of it?
It wasn't 9 who found the treasure, assassin. Not 9, but 10.
A 10th? None may live who carry the secret. Give me his name.
Oh, but you know him well. And I doubt very much you'd take his life as willingly as you've taken mine.
Who?
It is your master, Al-Mualim.
But he is not a Templar.
Did you never wonder how it is he knew so much? Where to find us, how many we numbered, what we aspired to attain?
He is the master of the assassins.
We, master of lies. You and I just two more pawns in his grand game. And now, with my death, only you remain. Do you think he'll let you leave, knowing what you do?
I've no interest in the treasure.
Ah, but he does. The only difference between your master and I is that he did not want to share. No. Ironic, isn't it? That I, your greatest enemy, kept you safe from harm. But now you've taken my life, and in the process, ended your own.
After a brief conversation with King Richard, we're taken out of the Animus once again. Oh, it seems like the assassins are attacking the lab.
Listen.
Oh no.
Seems your assassin friends found us.
What?
How'd you do it, Desmond?
Hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever's going on down there has got nothing to do with me.
God damn you, Desmond. You couldn't leave well enough alone.
I told you I had nothing to do with this. How would I even contact them? Telepathy? Come on.
Doesn't matter. They'll be dead soon enough. Here, have a listen. Looks like the cavalry won't be coming.
Dunno, Doc. We're freaking out a minute ago. Your little research facility not as secure as you thought it was? Worried they'll be back with more?
I don't think so, Desmond.
What Lucy here is trying to say is that there aren't any assassins left to come for you. We've been very busy this past year, hunting down your little enclaves, your desert communes and whatnot. I'm afraid you're on your own. Rest up, Mr. Miles. Tomorrow, we finish this.
Oh well, we are in luck though, because we have friends at places yet unknown.
Desmond.
You mentioned the desert. Do you think...
They sent a team there, but the place was deserted. I don't know where your parents are, and I can't promise they're still alive.
I am screwed, okay? What do you want me to do?
Just try and have a little faith.
Alright, and I mean, we go back to sleep, see another vision again, and jump into the Animus the last time for the final memory. Here we go.
Was it the Templars? Did they attack again?
They walk the path.
What path? What are you talking about?
Towards the light.
Speak sense.
There is only what the Master shows us. This is the truth.
You've lost your mind.
You too will
Okay, this is creepy AF. I mean, thank you very much. Okay. We go towards Massaev Castle, and because we're next to a cliff, yeah, you know exactly what's gonna happen next, okay? Each of those guys, they will go flying. Until finally the assassins stop flying and they start fleeing, because Malik came with some men to help us. Nice.
Safety and peace, my friend.
Your presence here will deliver us both.
As we approach the castle, yeah, once again, all of these people silently just watching, looking at us. Oh, that is creepy, man. Okay, and here we are in the back courtyards for the final confrontation.
So, the student returns.
I've never been one to run.
Never been one to listen either.
I still live because of it.
What will I do with you?
Let me go.
Oh, Altair. I hear the hatred in your voice. Feel its heat. Let you go? Well, that would be unwise.
What? Why are you doing this?
I found proof.
Proof of what?
That nothing is true. And everything is permitted. Come. Destroy the betrayer.
We first must fight all of the 9 assassination targets, and then we have to best Al-Mualim himself.
What could I possibly fear? Look at the power I command. But you are not like the others. You saw through the illusion.
Illusion?
That's all it's ever done. This Templar treasure, this piece of Eden, this word of God. Do you understand now? Red Sea was never parted. Water never turned to wine. It was not the machinations of Iris that spawned the Trojan War, but this! Illusions! All of them!
What you plan is no less an illusion. To force men to follow you against their will.
Is it any less real than the phantoms the Saracens and Crusaders follow now? Those craven gods who retreat from this world that men might slaughter one another in their names? It seems then we are at an impasse.
No, we are at an end.
I will miss you, Altair. You were my very best student.
Now, the fight here is, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's the best that the game can offer, right? Each time you defeat him, he reappears somewhere else until you defeat him for the last time, and then not even the piece of Eden can best us. Ah, there we go.
Impossible. The student does not defeat the teacher.
الشيء واقع مطلق بل كل ممكن.
So it seems. You have won then. Go and claim your prize.
You held fire in your hand, old man. It should have been destroyed.
Destroy the only thing capable of ending the Crusades and creating true peace? Never.
Then I will.
We'll see about that. I applied my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also was a chasing after wind. For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Destroy it! Destroy
Now, one thing that I always found very strange, right, that is weird on this map, is that why does it have post-Cold War political borders? That is like, what? That takes me out of it a little bit. Because like, not only at the time, the borders would have been completely different, and also America wasn't even colonized by the Europeans yet, so it should have shown the native tribes or something else in America entirely. It just does not make any sense to me whatsoever. And how does the Piece of Eden know, like, what the borders are going to be in the 20th century? You know, as if the 20th century is somehow the focal point of history, just because we live in it. Like, history hasn't ended, and it will never end. And I'm pretty sure those borders will probably shift in the future as well, so I don't know. Regardless, we're pulled out of the Animus once again, and some suits are staring at us now, which, that does not bode well.
Well? We've got the map.
How many?
At least half a dozen.
We don't need them all.
We should assume some amount of decay. I can't imagine they'll all still be functioning. At least 2 appear to reside on land masses that no longer exist.
We'll dispatch teams to each site and determine viability. We only need 1, after all.
What about the rest?
Collect them. Let's not leave anything to chance. Last thing we need is some damn survivor making trouble for us in the new world.
And the assassin?
We have what we need. Kill him.
Wait. You know how these things work. I doubt we'll be able to walk right in.
What's your point?
We might need him. His memories. I'd recommend we hold him until we have confirmation that there aren't any surprises waiting for us at the sites.
This is a waste of time.
You said it yourself. We shouldn't leave anything to chance.
Very well. Ensure we have no further need of him, then kill him.
Fine.
What the hell is that?
Alright, we're finally given some special vision. And going back to the bedroom and looking at the wall, and there's the writing that we've seen flashes of during our sleep.
Looks like... is that blood? The hell were they keeping here before me? And what happened to him? What does it mean, I wonder?
Yeah, I wonder this too. And... wait, what? Yep. That's it. The credits just play. What an anticlimactic ending. That's crazy to me. It's like, yeah, okay, it builds a lot of questions, which leave you interested enough for the next game, but man, really though? Like, what is this? Sure, After the credits, we do get to walk around a little bit more, and for example, we can read a few more emails, like the ones from the bosses of the conference room, which basically only lists a couple of pieces of Eden. And I mean, it's kind of it. There's a couple more emails in Vidic's inbox, but nothing too crazy. And all of these markings, they are not explained over here. That's just something that the subject before did that apparently turned mad while using the Animus. Great, awesome. That's awesome. And then, to finish the game, you have to exit ourselves. No back to title screen, no additional fanfare. That's it. Exit game, exit game. Huh. Strange. But yeah, that was Assassin's Creed.
Indeed, and that was it for Assassin's Creed 1. I mean, pretty much in its entirety. And oh boy. Now, I was genuinely super freaking excited because I remembered this game so fondly. The parkour, the assassinations, the cool story, and then I played it. And oh man, I knew going into this that there are some repetitive elements in this game because I remember those too. But actually playing them, it was a little bit rough, I'm not gonna lie. I played for about 14.5 hours or so, and I'm pretty sure I could have cut this in half, like easily, if I didn't do all of the viewpoints and didn't save all of the different citizens. And I don't know, man, it's just... In the beginning, I also said how the movement system is smooth as ever. So that was a fucking lie. No, so I started noticing that it definitely was not as smooth as it could have been, let's say, because after playing a few hours, man, it really left a lot to be desired. I have played the Ezio trilogy as well, and I'm pretty sure in there things improve vastly. It's actually crazy, right? And that's the thing. Assassin's Creed 1 is not bad. It's not a bad game at all, right? But man, it's a rough diamond. Every critique about it being repetitive is simply true. The story itself is actually quite interesting. However, the issue is that it is super far away from the gameplay, if that makes sense, right? We only really learn about it in the discussions with people. And when it comes to the assassination targets, we only learn about them during the actual missions. Also, the investigations could have been a great tool for showing us some of the effects that these targets have. But it all feels a little bit short. In terms of the dialogue, the voice acting, and the presentation, I'm gonna be real, Assassin's Creed definitely works really well. The dialogue, in my opinion, is absolutely brilliant and it works super well for the story. The story itself is also super intriguing, and I do think that it is pretty well done. I read a super interesting thing somewhere that Assassin's Creed walked so Assassin's Creed 2 could run. I 100% agree. If you do want to replay Assassin's Creed 1, if you can get the game to work, that is also a hard thing, do not do the completionist route. I'm telling you, like saving all of the citizens and climbing all of the towers, it gets old real fast. And honestly, the series really starts with Assassin's Creed 2. That is when you get so much more depth in all story, you get beloved characters, and overall just an improvement of every single aspect of the game, truly. But we're not here for Assassin's Creed 2, we're here for Assassin's Creed 1. Now I think I can give it a 7 out of 10, even still today. And maybe this is a little bit too low, because it did start an incredible franchise, but there's just a little bit missing over here, okay? It is sad to say, but it is also hard to get running on my machine. I don't know why. It is still worth playing if you can get it to run. There are the occasional glitch and strange sound issues. Now maybe they don't bother you, or maybe you're not even gonna have any of them. But regardless of all of the flaws, it is still quite awesome, and it did launch a great franchise, still going strong to this day. But there you have it. Now that this investigation is closed, we can travel back in time again, this time a little bit differently though, because next time we'll be taking a look at Singularity, a forgotten gem from the 2010s. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you all in the next video. So, yeah.